Welcome back to another ErhanDoesVR video, and today we're at Kingsford Smith International Airport, or Sydney Airport, ICAO YSSY. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting video. There's a lot of facts that I'd love to tell you about this place because it's quite bizarre. But anyway, don't mind me almost stuffing up the takeoff because of that crosswind, but whatever, we got there in the end. But yeah, it's actually the busiest airport in Australia, believe it or not. And according to statistics, the year 2016 to 17, there are actually over 40 million passengers a year. Well, over 40 million in that particular year anyway, should I say. And totaling about 350,000 aircraft movements as well. So that's a lot of activity, and according to the Skytrax World Airport Awards as well, was actually voted 20th best airport in the world, although I don't know how. I mean, I don't think Sydney Airport is that special. Granted, I haven't been there in a while. I've been there about a year ago, but then before that it's been quite a while since I've been there, and if it's anything like my previous experience and experiences previous to that as well, which granted was years ago, it really isn't that special. But let me know in the comments section below if you've been to Sydney Airport recently, or if you have had, you know, if it's been developed or anything, because I'm curious. But yeah, apparently the 20th best airport in the world, which caught me by surprise. On top of that, Sydney Airport actually has a curfew as well for noise abatement, obviously. And in fact, it's actually got its own legislation, and it's called the Sydney Airport Curfew Act 1995. So you know it's serious when it's got its own act. But yeah, basically no nighttime flying, unlike a lot of other places in the world where operations are pretty much 24/7. So yeah, that's interesting for an airport that busy, and to there not be night flying. It's pretty wild. But then again, as you can see right now, everything's really dense very close to the airport, so I guess it does make sense. And on top of that as well, it's actually limited to 80 aircraft movements per hour. If you're familiar with Sydney Airport, or you live in Australia and you travel frequently enough, you'll find that there's always a lot of delays. Apparently this is one reason as to why there's delays. And I just want to quickly mention something real quick. Sorry, I got sidetracked. On the right there, you can see Sydney CBD. But for some reason, there's no Centrepoint Tower, including Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have no idea why. Centrepoint Tower is the equivalent of like the Golden Gate Bridge, for example. It's an icon. It should be there. I have no idea why it's not there. That blows my mind. But anyway, there is a Centrepoint Tower there in real life. It's just not here in the simulator. So yeah, in addition to that, Sydney is actually my hometown. I've lived in Sydney since I was 4 years old. If you can guess where I'm from originally, I'm sure it's easy to guess going by my name. But feel free to guess in the comment section below. But yeah, I've lived in Sydney when I was 4 years old through to when I was about 19, 20 years old, before I got into the Defence Force. And yeah, so I lived out in Western Sydney, and there was a time just after high school, but before I moved, before I got into the Air Force, I actually studied aviation up until commercial level. And what I'd do is there'd be some vantage points you could sit under the glide path. If I recall correctly, runway 16 left or 16 right. Yeah, there was like a spot where you could sit under. And you could, you know, where the light poles, I don't know what the terminology is, those light fixes where it shows you where it's inbound to the runway threshold. I'm derping out so hard right now. But yeah, I'd sit under there, I'd study, and I'd be really inspired. There was a friend that I'd study with as well, and but he's actually gone on to become a regional pilot, and he lives in Texas now. So if you're watching this, buddy, shout out to you. But yeah, he's done well. Unfortunately, I couldn't pursue it because I couldn't afford flight school at the time. So I only did my theory basically did my theory or ground school but no practical hours. So that was sad, but you know, that's part of what inspired me to get into Defence Force, because I enjoyed aeroplanes, still do, obviously. But yeah, so there's a bit of backstory with Sydney, and I thought I'd make such a flight so I could, you know, tell you a bit about me as well. But as you could see, yeah, this scenery is cool, as I keep saying in pretty much every video, and now you can probably see why there's noise abatement procedures as laws, because the houses are so close to this international airport. It's it's crazy. But yeah, there's not much else to say other than that. If you are new, be sure to subscribe. I do post a lot of videos like this, where I just chill out, tell you a bit about the airport, check out the scenery, etc, etc. So if you're watching until now, then obviously you like my content. I appreciate that, and stick around for more. Other than that, enjoy the landing. I'll shut up now, and I'll catch you in the next video. Well, that does it for this video, but YouTube's about to show you another video that it thinks you might enjoy. So let's see if they're right. Feel free to click on the video, and I'll catch you over there.